Hello and welcome to another episode of Jaxon Talks Everybody with me, your host, Aaron Mashbitz, aka Jaxon Stone, and this is episode 111, wow, of Jaxon Talks Everybody, and I have a fantastic guest today. So, Erin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. 111, that's a really good number, so it's meant to be here, you know?
You think so?
Yeah, that's a good number.
Why is it a good number?
I don't know. They say that, like, triple numbers are, like, angel numbers. So I have, like, 444 into a necklace because I see it, like, literally every day, So.
And you always see it as a good thing?
Yeah. It's like a, what do they call it? Like a synchronicity? Like, you see it frequently.
Yeah.
It's like a good thing. I don't know.
Fantastic. So 111 is a great episode.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah.
Unplanned, the universe.
I know.
Speaking to us.
Working in the way it does, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Cool. Well, right before I started recording, you said that you've watched a couple episodes.
I have.
And I know you just watched the one with Logan, because he's a friend of yours.
Yes, yeah.
He's excellent. That was excellent.
He's great, yeah. We went to high school together, and we weren't, like, super close in high school, but we kind of reconnected once he started doing all of his film stuff. I knew that he was, like, in a band and all of that, and then, we became friends, hung out a few times, and then, we worked together, and he's just a really cool dude. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited to, one, now I'm friends with him, so that's the best part.
Yeah.
Two, also to work with him.
Yeah.
And, those two things.
Yeah.
So, but are you ready for the big question?
I guess. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Super important question, right?
Yeah.
People ask it all the time. Most of the time we're too busy to answer it honestly. So hopefully with people in your life, maybe with your partner, best friends, or friends, that you hold space to answer this question and have people answer it honestly to you. So I'm hopefully going to give you that space right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Erin, on August 9th, 2022, when we're recording this episode, how are you doing? Like, really, for real?
For real, I'm doing really good. I don't know. I'm doing great. I, just don't have any complaints right now. Kind of been in, this, weird funk, I would say, for, the past couple of months. I guess, in terms, mentally, kind of felt like I was, falling off the wagon a bit. And I just started, new medications and stuff. So it's been, a couple months since getting all of that situated. So I don't know. I spend a lot of time by myself. I work from home, 2 days during the week, and have my music blaring and stuff. And, I literally was, dancing around today. I was wow, almost an elated feeling. Just, not having, a weird, troubling thought or anything for a couple of weeks. So that feels really good. So, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Is that a surprise?
Yes and no, because I feel like it definitely goes, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
There's, a ebb and flow, a flux and flow, of course, with, most things in life. But,
right.
Right now I'm on that high point. I'm in a good spot, so.
Amazing.
Yeah, feels good.
I mean, there's always going to be peaks and valleys with our mental health.
Sure, yeah.
No matter what. Even if we're all doing all the right things, whatever works for you in terms of if you go to therapy, if you exercise, if you take medication, right? Whatever ingredients you found that work for your mental health, there's still always going to be things that irritate us, that annoy us, that make us sad. Yeah. And that's a normal part. I know probably for you as an artist, you want to feel all of those things.
Yeah.
Because you want to put that into your art.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of able to manage it a little bit, I like to say, the highs become higher and your lows become your previous highs.
For sure.
And then it just you feel like you have more of a management on it, and it's not just taking you for a whirlwind. And when at least for me, initially when you start feeling some of these things with your mental health, it is a whirlwind because you don't know what to do really. Mm-hmm. And you kind of feel like it's going to feel like that forever.
Yes.
And then you start to come out of it and you're like, oh, okay, so I can do this. I am capable of overcoming this.
Yeah.
And even though I am putting in the work on a consistent basis, I'm never not going to have to put in the work. And I think that was a realization for a lot of people also.
Yeah, I would agree. And I feel like no matter how many cycles of these up and downs that you go through, when you're in that low, it doesn't like feel the same necessarily, but you know, you kind of get those thoughts. You're like, whoa, like this, you know, I'm in a really bad spot, and it does still kind of like reoccurringly feel like, okay, like it's not gonna get better, even though I know that it will. So yeah, you kind of like, at least for me, like I kind of like suffocate myself with those thoughts and kind of bury for a little. But let's see, I took like therapy starting in 2020, you know, as we all went through all that shit. And yeah, just being at home all the time. I'm a busy person. I like doing things, and you know, my relationship was suffering, and it was just a really tough time. So that was my first time ever trying therapy, and I loved it. But one of the things that my first therapist taught me was like, you know, it's important to feel all of your feelings because they're valid. You know, we are humans, we feel, but it's also a matter of like how long you can like let that sit with you for, you know. So for me, at least, like moving forward, once I learned that, like I'm allowed to have a bad day. You know, we all are. I can have a day where I sit in bed and do nothing, or you know, whatever. But it's important too to also realize like I can't allow myself to sit like this forever. You know. So at least for me, that's helped. And when I am having that bad day, I'm like, okay, like we're allowed to chill. You know, we're gonna have this day, but tomorrow, you know, let's try to do something. And honestly, for me, just being busy and having things to do makes me feel better. So yeah, I think I like to book myself in to be busy so that I don't have time for my thoughts to kind of seep in and saturate. Yeah.
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 Have you have you been a meditation person? Is that something that has entered your life?
I attempted it.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah, no, not really. I admire people that do it. You know, it's on Instagram and social media all the time.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say it's trendy, but and you know, it kind of seems like it has been, and I believe it works. Maybe I'll give it a shot one day and it'll help. But yeah, I just haven't really given it a lot of time, I guess, to be in my life. So yeah.
Yeah. Mental health, at least since I've been doing this work since 2018, and in the last couple of years, especially with COVID hitting, it has become sort of trendy to talk about mental health.
Sure.
And that's good in a sense, right? Because I think the stigma about mental health is not totally removed, but many more people are much more comfortable talking about it and saying that they went to their therapist or all of these things. And so that's good, but it can't be a thing, at least in my view, someone who posts a lot of content about it can't be a thing that we only post to get likes.
Right.
It has to be something that we're actively doing in our real life, like every day.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about if you post about it or not. I care about if you're actually being proactive about your mental health, doing the things that are best for you, speaking with your friends honestly. And then if you happen to have things that resonate with you and then you want to then share them on social media, I think then it becomes more authentic about how we can best serve our mental health, not the other way around.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
So, but back to about resting. Resting is the interesting one, at least for me, because I've been an athlete my whole life. And so until recently, rest was never really talked about. And then when I rested, I felt guilty for resting, so I wasn't actually resting.
Yes.
And I wasn't actually recovering.
Yes.
And so it's super interesting what you said about just like, I'm just gonna take my day. This is important for me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's been tough. You know, I've been like on and off different kinds of medication for, you know, depression and anxiety and, you know, the past like couple of years or so. Just, you know, on and off. And I think recently with this like, you know, new little cycle and things that I'm on, like letting my body like acclimate, I think is really kind of where I was like, okay, like I'm feeling bad. Like, you know, I need to like chill out. I feel like one of my like biggest stressors is like, I don't know, it's like little chores and like things that I think I have to do around the house. Like for some, like I don't know. I have a great partner and we work very well. We do chores together. He does stuff, I do stuff. You know, we're very great at that. It's not that at all, but in my head I'm just like, I have things I could be doing. I could be organizing. I could be putting this away. I could be deep cleaning. So when I'm at home and I am resting and having that day, my brain is still like, there's stuff you should be doing. Like, you know, if you do it today, you won't have to do it tomorrow. So that's where like my resting kind of slacks a little. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not afraid to like take a day or two where I'm just like, all right, I'm staying home.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking to anybody or whatever. It feels good to do that.
It does feel good.
Yeah.
What about your sleep? Are you a good sleeper?
I'm a great sleeper.
Yeah?
Yeah. I can sleep literally anywhere. Like on the floor, just like I'm thankful that I can just sleep wherever. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. So you've always been a good sleeper. You always feel like well rested when you wake up?
So that's where it's weird. I feel like I may oversleep because I get I'm still like very tired and lethargic in the mornings. I drink coffee every day. Yeah. I love coffee. I'm a big coffee person, which I wasn't until I went to a college course. I thought coffee was like disgusting, like the worst thing ever. And then I stopped and got coffee every day when I was in like my college course, and then here I am. I drink it every day. So good.
I love coffee.
Yeah, I do too.
It's really quite good.
What's your like go-to coffee?
Well, my favorite is like just a nice vanilla latte.
Okay, yeah, good.
Super good.
Yeah.
I have a little machine in my kitchen.
Like an espresso machine?
It's like a little cup that like froths the milk.
Oh yeah, cool.
And then I pour it over. I drink Death Wish coffee is my favorite.
See, I'm too scared to try that. I love coffee, but caffeine it depends on the day.
Yeah?
I feel like caffeine can like ruin my day. So
Really?
I have to be, yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
No.
Do you have a Keurig?
I do.
I'll give you a packet.
So cool.
You can have a little cup.
Thanks.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never been a good sleeper. And so the rest thing led into me never being able to sleep well.
Yeah.
So I've really been trying to figure out my sleep and make it really important. Because now I know that if I want to like work really hard or do anything special, I have to sleep at least 7 to 8, 9 hours a night.
Yeah.
Or else I won't be at my best self.
Right.
And that goes the same with like a rest day. If I, I don't know, went too hard at the gym or I got injured at jiu-jitsu, like take a day off, take a week off. I cracked my ribs at jiu-jitsu.
Oof.
And I'm on my like 4th week off, and I feel actually like really good about it.
Oh, good, yeah.
Because normally I would have like rushed back, re-injured myself, then had to take a longer time off.
Right.
And with the beautiful support of my girlfriend telling me that I need to rest, which she's right all the time, I have, and I've taken 4 weeks off. And like next week I'll probably go back, would be my 5th week, and they say that you heal around 5-6 weeks. I feel pretty good. Doesn't hurt when I sneeze anymore.
That's great.
I can breathe.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, I just, no question or anything, just I see myself just like getting better at it, which is like nice. Because it's like sleep. It's like, it's not something you can grab onto really. You can kind of sense a feel. So I bought this ring to track my sleep, and I can see when I'm sleeping better. It's pretty cool. And I know that when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I feel good.
That's
cool. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love my sleep. I worked in restaurants for like 7 years, like pre-pandemic, and having like not a regular routine, I think really messed with like just like the way I felt in general, like physically, but then also mentally, because I don't know, I'm learning that I like thrive on a routine. So like, not having like a planned set day, like, every week to have that off, that was like really troubling. And then, I missed out on a bunch of stuff. It's just the industry. But yeah, I mean, working till like midnight or something, and then, getting up and having to be to work at 10, like, there's still a good amount of time, but then it's like, where's time for my like relationships and my friends and like my family? So I work at an office job now, which is great. And yeah, so having my like routine, I'm like, okay, I'm in bed by like 9:30, 10.
Yes.
And I'm up at like 6:30.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
I love getting in bed at 9 and like falling asleep by 9:30.
It's just, yeah.
It's magical.
It's great. Yeah.
I was at a wedding this past weekend in Chicago for my best friend. I was the best man. And obviously, I don't drink anymore, but we still stayed out until up. We were at the hotel till 2:30, 3, just like chatting. And I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
And we woke up at like 8 or 9, right? But it's like, even going to bed way past my normal bedtime, like, messed with my sleep schedule. And it's like, but it was obviously very much worth it.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But stuff like that is very interesting, and I like to see like where my resting heart rate was, because I stayed up and I was a little more excited when I went to bed, and my adrenaline was still pumping because I was with my friends. And
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Neat.
it is cool. So before we really dive into some of your music, where did you grow up?
Oh gosh. So I grew up a lot of places. I'm a military brat. My dad was in the Navy for like 30 years. So I was born in California on a naval air station. I think we moved when I was like 3, so I don't remember anything about California. But we lived in Virginia for 6 years, and then we moved to Pennsylvania for 3, and then we've been in Texas for like 12, 13 maybe. So most of my, like, from what I can remember, my life I've been here. But yeah.
You like it here?
Yeah. I mean, you'd think like 10, 12 years I'd be like, you know, into it. I don't know. It's okay. It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get snow in like a nice fall, so I hate that. Fall's like my favorite like season, so I hate that we get like 2-3 weeks of it and then it's just cold. So that's not like my favorite thing. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm rooted here. I met my partner here and my family's here. And
do you see yourself being here forever?
I don't. No, I'd love to move to like Colorado or something. The mountains, yeah. I would love to be somewhere like more nature-y.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's ideal. But yeah.
Colorado is beautiful.
I know. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Stunning.
Yeah. We took me and Rihanna took a beautiful trip to Colorado Springs in January.
Yes.
It was just, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, we've taken a couple trips to Estes Park. It's like an hour north of like Denver.
I think you were doing a road trip.
Yeah,
in March, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because it was right before the event.
Yes, yeah. Me and my partner we went for a concert that was touring up in Denver, and there was a band that I really wanted to see, so I bought tickets and I was like, oh, we'll just use this as an excuse. We'll go up to Colorado a couple days. And his birthday's in February, and then our anniversary was like a month before that. So we were like, oh, we'll just do a big trip or whatever.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But so we drove up there and we got to Estes Park. It's kind of buried in the like Rocky Mountains, and it started snowing. And so we got to our little like cabin area. We went and got dinner. Got like some gas in our car, whatever. And then it just kept snowing and it didn't stop. And the concert was the next night. So we were like, okay, like, maybe it'll clear up and we can drive an hour and a half into Denver. Well, it just kept snowing. So we got like stuck up in the mountains. And, we're not experienced snow drivers. So we just stayed in the mountains for those few days and missed the show. But that's okay. But yeah, it's, man, it's just so beautiful. It's so nice. I love it there.
So you're definitely going to move there?
Hopefully, yeah, that's a dream.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
How was moving around a lot? Was that challenging?
From what I can remember, I mean, I think the biggest move was like from Pennsylvania to Texas, because I was in like 7th grade, and like at that age you start to make like actual friends.
Right.
And you kind of more like cognitively aware of friendships and stuff. So yeah, that was really tough moving here initially. But like as a kid and stuff, I don't really remember a whole lot. I'm very thankful that I got to live a lot of places and got to experience a lot of things. We traveled a bunch and stuff, so yeah. But here's been good. I don't want to like talk crap about Texas. I know a lot of people are Texans and they're very proud, so I get it. But yeah, no, I'm comfortable. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. And on that journey, when did you fall in love with music?
Oh gosh. I think it was like high school, like probably like my sophomore year. I had met a couple of friends that were really into, I guess you'd call like emo music or whatever. I feel like that term's so lame, but yeah, like a bunch of bands and stuff. And up until then, I was like a strictly like pop radio listener. and I just like cringe back like thinking about that, because now I'm so heavily invested into music and different bands and stuff. I'm like, how did I ever just listen to whatever?
Who was on the radio when you were heavily invested in pop radio?
Specifically, I think of the song by Kesha. Was it TikTok or whatever?
Yeah.
She's like brushing her teeth with alcohol. Yeah, that's like the one song that just is like so prevalent in my head right now. So yeah, no shame to Kesha, she's great.
Sure.
But there's so much more music outside of that. So yeah, I definitely say like high school. And then my junior year, I had an English teacher, and we took like a poetry class, or like a section of her class was poetry. And we watched a documentary about a group of people in a like more impoverished area. And they turned to like writing and poetry and stuff, and they did like slam poetry like events and stuff. And I thought that was really cool, and that was like one of the heights of where I like had first started struggling with like depression and anxiety and bad thoughts and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, these people are, living in poverty, they don't have such a great environment, but they turn to this, and it's become like such a really good, like outlet for them, and, what they're going through in their life. And I don't know, I just thought that was really, I admired that they had that, and that they could, write about it, and that was their expression. So yeah, I started writing in that poetry class. And then me and a handful of friends in school, we created a poetry club in high school. So that was really cool, and yeah, that's when I started learning guitar and stuff. So, because I realized like, oh, like poems are literally just lyrics with no music. So I was like, oh, I can do that. So yeah.
Were you playing any sort of music before that, or writing before that, or that was the initial beginning?
Yeah, no. When I was a kid, I took like piano lessons and stuff, and then I played clarinet in like middle school. So yeah, that was my extent of music playing. But yeah.
What about poetry drew you in?
I don't know. I'm a word person. Like, I guess like my love language I've learned too is like words of affirmation. Like I just really like words. I look at like Merriam-Webster's like word of the day quite often just to like learn new words.
That's very cool.
It is cool, right?
That's
I love
very
words.
Cool.
That's how one of my band songs was written. I learned what a word was, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and then wrote it, and I was like, neat. But yeah, I feel like words can kind of be like a catalyst for a thought for me. So, I mean, yeah, there's a handful of times where, I've been having a conversation, or when I was in, like, music school, my instructor said the word manifest, and I was like, oh, I haven't thought about that word in a while. So I literally went home and then wrote a song, and it has the word manifest in it. So sometimes it just kind of, it's a catalyst and just kind of, like, triggers thoughts, and that's how it's worked so far. So, yeah, it's cool. Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love words.
I do, too.
They're very powerful.
They are.
Especially when you use them with a good intention,
yes.
Or an intention in general.
Sure.
Yeah, they just have the power to inspire.
Mm-hmm.
They have the power to inspire actions that then create change.
Yes.
Which is like a beautiful dynamic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And music is one of the most powerful things. When I started like creating this podcast, I thought about other things that inspire me, one of those things being music. And I was like, how will I ever create something that's as powerful as a song? And then I kind of got like a little sad about it.
No.
But it's like not sad in a bad way. It's sad like those people who create music that inspire me, or that make me feel something, or that make me cry when I'm driving home, is like such a gift. And my art doesn't have to be the same.
Correct.
But it's my version of it, and whoever listens to this might feel the same way about it. But I say that and all to say that music is like one of the most beautiful vehicles of love, hope, emotion,
just everything.
Experiences.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, I think like music feels very much like magic in its like purest form, because it is so special, and you know, it kind of when I'm talking to new people and they're like, oh, I don't care what I listen to. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you know, and I understand some people it just doesn't click and, you know, they're into other things. But, God, I mean, I can't imagine, like, my life without music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. But I guess to, like, mention the podcast thing, I mean, you know, I was listening to some episodes and I got, like, mega excited for this because I was like, oh, I love, like, talking about, like, life things and, you know, like, those things also inspire me, I guess, as an artist to listen to other people and, like, what they have to say and their, like, life experiences and, you know, like, interviews and stuff. I listened to a bunch of interviews and, you know, just words, dude. I think it's words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did poetry, created a poetry club, and then that turned into you, like, writing actual songs. Was that a hard transition? Because they're much longer, a song than like a poem, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they can be. It just, you know, depends. But I think, like, I got a lot of inspiration from, like, acoustic artists. Like, one of my, like, biggest, I guess, like, pushes that made me, like, really, really love music is a City in Color. I'm, like, obsessed with that whole project. And I think he's a terrific songwriter. And yeah, it's kind of like ties into the emotional thing, you know, where, you know, words are just so special and I don't know, they just formulate thoughts I feel like that sometimes you can't articulate and then you pair it with the instruments and it just creates this whole, like, environment that you can kind of, like, fall into and just kind of disappear for a while, like, pull the curtain. But yeah, I mean, so acoustic is where I really started. And I mean, that's still what I play mostly today. But yeah, I don't know, the first few songs, like, from what I remember of writing, because it's been so long, wasn't, like, necessarily, like, a big challenge, because I feel like sometimes for me, they just, like, dump out. It can be, like, a 5 or 10 minute, like, just, like, trail of thought that just falls, and that's how most of my songs have worked out, which I feel like is different because I hear some people when they write music, you know, it takes them months to work on a song, and I love that. Like, I want to know what that's like too, you know, to write a song and then to try to, like, reinvent it and make it better. But thus far, they're just kind of just a dump of thoughts. Yeah.
And you get, like, moments of inspiration, or you try to inspire yourself through doing things?
It definitely comes, like, randomly. Like, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I picked up a guitar. Like, maybe a couple weeks ago. But I haven't written a song, actually, in a while. Like, just me and my guitar. Or even, like, with my band, I haven't done that either. So, yeah, it's very, like, intermittent when things can happen. And, yeah.
Okay, then what was next after high school?
I started playing shows just as a solo person.
So you just jumped right in?
Yeah, well, let's see. So I went to, like, a music school where I learned, like, music production and, like, live stuff. That was, like, a year, like, vocational program. And then I interned at a studio out in Garland for, like, 6 or 7 months. And that was really cool. I learned a lot there. And I was interns with a couple of other people there. So we had recorded one of my songs there. Or actually, we did, like, 2 or 3 of them, which was cool. I started, like, posting things on, like, my Bandcamp. You know, it's really easy to just upload songs, like, independently and stuff. So, yeah, I did that. And then I guess I played, like, my first, like, show. It was a house show. So.
How old were you?
Like, 19 or 20, maybe.
How long ago was that?
How old am I? Like, 6, 7 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe I was... Yeah, no, I had to been like 18, 19, 20, yeah.
What was that first show feeling like?
I remember being really nervous. Or actually, no, my first show, I played a Battle of the Bands in Dallas.
Yeah!
Oh god, that's what that was. Yeah, that was really nerve-wracking, because I played at the Door in Dallas, and that was, like, you know, a really prominent, like, venue there. I saw some of my first shows there, like, seeing other people play. Yeah, it was terrifying because I was the only solo person, so everyone was in a band, and then it was just, like, me and a drummer, and it was really scary.
But you did it.
I did, yeah. And all my friends and family supported it. It was really cool. So,
looking back at it now, how do you feel about it?
Embarrassed, but I'm glad that I did it.
Why
because,
embarrassed?
like, I don't know, dude. It's just like, I don't know. I guess I guess it's kind of cool to think about, because it was just like me, and my first thing ever was like in front of a bunch of people. So I guess it's courageous. Kind of cool.
It's so fucking cool.
Thanks.
Come on.
It's all right. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thanks.
I distinctly remember my first professional wrestling match. I'm retired now.
Like officially?
Yeah.
Oh.
I retired actually like maybe a week or two after the March event.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't like planned at all. I knew I was going to take a break because I was heading into baseball season.
Okay.
And then I just haven't really felt the urge to get back in. But I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's a forever thing. It's just a right now thing.
Yeah.
But my first match is still on YouTube.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Neato.
And there's just, I dyed my hair blonde at one point. It was like just a bunch of, I thought at the time, really cool stuff. I still think it's really cool. But then you, kind of the same idea that you have is like you kind of look at it and you're like, cringy a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because you evolve as a person, and like I wouldn't make those decisions now.
Correct.
Even if I was still being a professional wrestler, I was a totally different quote unquote character than I was back then, but it still worked for me back then to do whatever cool stuff I got to do. But it's interesting to have like a bird's eye view on it.
Yes.
Because now I'm removed from it and I can see it like, oh, okay. But amazing though.
Yeah.
Amazing that I just went out in front of a bunch of people in my underwear and did some moves.
You did it, yeah. And it worked. Yeah, it worked. Yeah.
So that's amazing.
It's super cool.
Okay, then what happened? You did Battle of the Bands?
Oh yeah. So then I played a house show. That was like kind of chill, just a bunch of random people in a living room. That was fun. And then I think I played like a couple shows like out in Dallas through a couple of like booking and production companies. Yeah. And then I took like a long hiatus. Yeah, I took a long hiatus for a while just because I was like, I was still like writing songs, but I haven't put anything out honestly in forever. I did like a little like demo in my bedroom when I was living with my parents, and that like got put up. And I guess like as an artist, like, and I'm learning this now, but like as an artist, like if you don't like constantly like, I guess like work at it, of course it's gonna go nowhere. Like there are those like random one-off cases where like Post Malone, he posted that song on SoundCloud and like blew the fuck up, and I was huge, and granted, of course, he's worked really hard, but that one song, really like pushed him up to where he's at.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, unless you have that and like one person, that knows somebody listens to it, like it's, I don't want to say it in a discouraging way, because honestly, like for me, it's very like cathartic to write and sing and play my music. And that's the heart of it, It'd be cool to like go tour and, play shows and stuff, but if I just get to, write, and I don't know, it's kind of like a therapy for me now. If I can just write my feelings and then, go play it to a couple people who will listen and maybe it'll resonate, like that's awesome, But yeah, so just like playing a couple shows as like a solo person. And then I stopped playing shows for a while. Just, I don't know, just 'cause life, and I was working a bunch, and I moved out of my parents' house, and that's when I met my partner, Reed.
Hey, Reed.
Yeah, hi, Reed. Yeah, he's great. He's also a musician as well.
Oh, yeah?
So we definitely like bonded there, and I think that like keeps us close because we like a lot of the same music, and we can talk about, all the internal, what does this sound like? Is this cool? Whatever. So that's a neat thing. But yeah, I don't know. And then I put out like a record of demos back in 2020. So when I was like really bored and not playing shows and anything, I had a bunch of like demos on my phone, and I just put them into GarageBand, like did a couple things and posted them on Bandcamp. That was the last I've really done with like my solo stuff. So yeah, it's kind of just in and out for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple comments.
Go for it.
One, Post Malone. I'm so glad you mentioned him.
Love him.
He's my favorite artist.
Really?
On the planet.
I'm
going to see him in October for the first time ever.
We saw him a couple years ago in Wyoming.
Oh, that's it.
So weird. Yeah.
I want to go to Wyoming, like, really badly.
We went to like a Frontier Days, like the big like rodeo thing.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's family is like a part of a group and they go. So so we went. But luckily he was playing that year, and we were like, what is he doing in Wyoming playing a rodeo?
Magical.
So good. You're gonna have a great time. He's a great performer.
My girlfriend has seen him twice. So we're going to the American Airlines Center in October. And I love Post Malone.
Yes.
And it's interesting that you brought him up, because those cases are interesting now, especially nowadays. You have all of these platforms that if you put something out, you could instantly become famous.
Yeah.
And it really depends on if you're actually talented or not. And I don't say that in a mean way.
No, yeah.
Like, hey Joel, Post Malone is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
He can play multiple genres of music. He sings country like it's beautiful, right? He can obviously rap, right? He can do, his new album was different than his previous albums, like White Iverson and Stoney was more of a rap album, and then he kind of changed a little bit, and he dropped some rap here, and then he sings a little bit.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't been an actual in love with music and able to do all these things, White Iverson would have got really hot and would have done the same thing that it did. And then where would his, career have gone? He's put out 4 albums now, and they're all very successful. And he's like 25 years old. He doesn't really have to do anything, right? But he loves music, and that's his form of releasing stuff. Because I guarantee he's probably very bored, right? He has a lot of money, doing whatever really famous people do, right? He can't go out in public. Like, he's one of those people. Yeah. He also looks very odd.
Yeah.
And he's also Post Malone. Yeah. And so he uses music as that tool for him to probably keep himself alive. Right. Which is incredibly powerful and sad and a mixture of emotions. Mm-hmm. And so I think that rolls into what you were talking about I talked about this a lot on this podcast, like fame. But if you just are basically in love with the process of actually doing the thing that you're doing, it's not really important how the outcome turns out. Right. So if I just love doing this podcast, which I do, I'm 111 episodes in. I know, yeah. And sitting down and talking to people without a phone and distractions is the best thing that I can do in my life. Mm-hmm. And some people listen, but I hope no one listens, because really this is just for me. Sure. And the guest and our conversation and where we get and what resonates with us. And it's the same thing potentially for you with music, right? It's a vehicle for you to feel your best. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm feeling this way, I'm going to put this out. Maybe I'll play some shows. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe it works out. But I know that I love doing it, the thing. And that's the most important part. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So that it's hard to get that way, because everything in our society is driven by what is the result? What's the outcome? Yes. What did you get from this? Well, what I got from this is feeling fulfilled, healthy, doing something that I love, and sharing it with the most important people in my life. Maybe that was just me, because our relationship with ourselves is very important. Maybe it's my partner. Maybe it's at a show in front of 8 people. Yeah. Maybe I put it on Spotify and 12 people listen to it. Fucking sweet. That's awesome. Yeah. I think that's awesome. Yeah, totally. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. No, yeah, I mean, and I don't know, it's kind of like double-edged. Like, of course, like, you want to be able to, like, do the thing that you love as, like, your main job, or not job, I guess, but your income, because we all have to pay bills and, whatever. Buy groceries. That's the other side of the story, yeah. Yeah, so, monetarily, I think, most people would love to make money off of their hobbies, which, and for some people it gets there and it's kick-ass, and it's also still like lots and lots of hard work, and you have to be like self-disciplined and all of that stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of things that factor into it, but yeah, for now I'm content with just playing for random people or myself or my cat in my living room, and playing at YouAreLoved events. Yes, it was so fun. It was a great time. And we're going to talk about it. Okay. So I have something to ask you. Okay. So I'll ask you in a bit. Okay, cool. But yeah, it's like, on one end, right, people talk about finding your purpose all the time. And I think that's very, very important, right? Mm-hmm. There's ways you can find your purpose, but your purpose doesn't always have to be your job, because then it gets kind of conflated, right? Because if your purpose is anything, right? My purpose, I figured out, is to try and end mental suffering, right? That'll never happen in my lifetime, but everything I do is aimed towards that. And sometimes it feels like I'm not making a dent at all, so it can weigh you down and be like, all this shit is fucking worthless, it's not working. But then little things happen in your life where it's like, wow, it's like, yeah, you got to just keep moving. But if you're not prepared for all of those mutually existing emotions and experiences based on this one purpose that you found, then you can keep it just as something you do every once in a while. You still have a job, you still can feed yourself and your family or whatever, but you have this purpose that gives you some sort of extra meaning in your life that you do on the weekends, that you go and serve people or you help people. And it can be a hobby as well. Not every hobby has to be your life. It can just be a part of your meaningful life. And that's important too, because it's also very trendy on social media to talk about that. And then people get in this trap, and then they get in their own way, and then they don't know what to do, and then they feel like a failure because they don't have a purpose, and they're not monetizing their purpose on YouTube through TikTok. And then it's like, you don't have to do any of that. It's just about what you do in your life every day. And if you feel like sharing it, that's great. Like I said earlier. So it's very complicated to find something that you love to do, because it's very important to find that love, so you have like something to get up for every day. But then once it becomes bigger than you might have expected it to become, then it's like, what do I do? Now I'm not doing the thing that I love. Now I'm doing business meetings, and I'm doing all the stuff that I wasn't planning on doing, but my podcast or my YouTube channel or my vlog or my Etsy channels, like everywhere. And so you want to be able to do only the thing that you want to do, and it gets to that point, kind of delegate out. But that's, it's far-reaching stuff at this point. But I'm kind of going on a tangent.
No, you're good. No, and I think too, like, I don't know, I feel like social media obviously is a great tool, and it's going to be around for a very long time. But it definitely has its like conflicts for me, and I have my moments where I literally just have to delete everything off my phone, because I'm like, there's the comparing thing, and then you see somebody's like, oh, like, I do this, blah, 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 but I can go on vacations every month, and you're like, why the fuck am I not doing that? I want to go on vacation every month. So I guess the root is comparing. But yeah, also I like what you said about like not like monetizing your hobby, because like, yeah, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, and even if you're good at it, like say you're good at like making jewelry and you want to give it to your friends, like you don't have to open a business to sell jewelry.
You can just do it.
Yeah.
Because you enjoy the craftsmanship, you enjoy the creativity. You do it with your daughter and she loves it, and you guys bond there, and you speak about stuff that's like, all that stuff is way more important if again you have your basic needs taken care of. Which is like foundational level.
Bottom line. Yeah.
I think about it a lot, obviously, as you can tell.
No, I do too, and like, I mean, I would love to like not be like working in like a corporate environment, or to not be in like this mega like conglomerate, just like, I can't say society, because at least for our lifetime it's always going to be like that, but like the thought of like working for like a smaller company where maybe there's like not as much pressure, but like I'm still making good money, but then that's also like where I feel like it kind of, you can like teeter-totter, if you want to go into like a different career, or start like working for yourself and doing your own business. Like there are like some sacrifices, specifically my brain goes to money, because we have bills and stuff. But yeah, there are some things, specifically money, I guess, that, you have to take into account too. So, I mean, I've heard it's very difficult to start your own business, but then once people get it going and, like that's their life and they love it. And so kudos to you if you own your own business. I think it's sick. But
yeah. I mean, I work for myself.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like 100%. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But hard work.
Of course it's hard work. I can find myself, I could work 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
If I wanted to. Because everything, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Right.
You know, my businesses aren't big enough where I have like a team.
Right.
I have some people that work for me, and I have Ben who edits this podcast, and I have some people who do graphics for me and stuff like that. But mostly it's just me running all of this stuff. My podcast, You Are Loved, this baseball organization.
Wow.
Another company that I have. It's just me. And so I love that idea. And I just kind of started all of this stuff because I didn't have a job when COVID hit because I was only wrestling. And then there's no shows. So nothing. You can't wrestle in front of no one. So I just had to figure it out. And I did. And I had all this stuff in my head about what I wanted to do. So then You Are Love became an official nonprofit. I started Champions Adjust. I went all in on this podcast. And it's working out really well for me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's not easy by any means.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I have to set boundaries for when I'm on my phone, when I'm working, when I'm spending time with the people that I care about, vacations, all this stuff. And it's all a work in progress. Some days I'm good at it, some days I'm not. But it makes me, I feel overwhelmed a lot, but that is taken over by the fact that I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah, totally.
So.
That's awesome. I didn't know that you were all working for yourself and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, I've never worked an office job.
Okay.
I worked as a personal trainer.
Oh, awesome.
Right when I graduated college until I moved to Philadelphia for wrestling. And then that's pretty much it from there.
Personal trainer, that's so cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I don't I train myself.
Yeah.
Because working out is a big part of my life, but
right.
Yeah, now this is it.
Wow.
This famous couch.
Yeah. Kudos to you. That's awesome. Wow.
So that's why I think about the fame idea a lot. Because I know in my heart that this podcast is going to be one of the best podcasts in the world. And what does that mean for me? I don't know. What happens when, 50,000 people are listening to this every week? That's wild. Because it's going to happen because I believe it and I want it to.
Yeah.
But what's the other side of it? What do I have to stop doing? Where do I allocate my time? How do I delegate stuff that I normally did myself for the last 3 years to someone else? All of these things are very interesting in terms of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess on the flip side, working in a corporate environment, I just go and do my job and go home and I get paid, Yeah. I don't have to think about, the big business ventures and the big oversight. So the perspective is interesting. Yeah. Cool. Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I learned something new today.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we have these conversations for.
That's cool.
But back to you.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So you did mention when you were talking about slam poetry and starting a poetry club in high school, that was the first time you dealt with anxiety and depression. Was there a moment that happened, or just kind of dealing with life, or was there something?
Yeah, I think it was kind of towards the end of my freshman year, high school. For some people is really great, and other people it fucking sucks. And yeah, I just I don't know, I guess I kind of struggled, of course to fit into, I don't know, high school is so intimidating. You're around all these older people who are, cool and beautiful and popular and, all that stuff. So there's that. And then, you're also struggling academic wise. You want to, because I feel the big push is to go to college. There's all of this okay, your life is about to start. You got to figure it out. You got 4 years, figure it out. So there's that pressure. Of course there's your body's going through physical changes that really, can fuck a lot of people up. There's the pressure for dating. And their boyfriend, girlfriend, they, have been together 6 months or, and then there's me who didn't date anybody in high school.
Same.
So there was that pressure of am I just fucking weird or what's going on, Yeah, I think it was just an accumulation of pressure, really. And mostly it was my sophomore year that it really kind of hit me really hard. Yeah, it was not a great time for me. So yeah, like sophomore year is when it really just kind of hit me. Yeah, I was going through like just, yeah, like bouts of like really low times, and kind of like smothered myself with music and got really like invested to it. It kind of became like a security blanket to have like my iPod, you know? And yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I was self-harming, and that became a like daily thing in my life, which in hindsight is really, you know, sad to talk about, because now I just am in a different place. But yeah, so I struggled really hard with that. And I had confessed to my parents and was like, hey, this is what's happening. Like, I'm really scared. I feel like I'm going down a really dark path. Like, I feel like if I don't say something, like, I'm not gonna, like, be here anymore. And it definitely kind of got to that, like, really, like, hard point where I was like, I need to, like, do something. Like, you know, this isn't cool. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of got met with, you know, we're disappointed, and, you know, that whole talk. And I'm not digging at my parents. They had never been through it. They didn't, you know, you don't know what to say when your child tells you that. And so there's no fault there at all. But, you know, I kind of like internalized it and was like, okay, like I know it's not a good thing, but this is how I was dealing with my feelings or whatever. So I was clean for a while, and then my junior year I started playing soccer again. So I played soccer my freshman year, took off sophomore year, and then played junior year for the school. And I was put into a goalkeeper position, which I had never played before. And the goalie, I'm sure you're familiar with soccer, but like, holy shit, it's a lot of pressure, and especially when you've never played before, and you know, you're playing for your high school. Yeah. You know, that was just kind of an added pressure. And I had like eating struggles as well, you know, just like bad body image, you know, that came with the, you know, these girls look like this and I look like this, you know. So yeah, that was like a weighted pressure too, like feeling like I wasn't who I could be or who I was supposed to be, and I was kind of like just ashamed of who I was like overall. But yeah, when playing soccer, I had relapsed and started to self-harm again, and that kind of like, I was like, okay, like, you know, I'm back in this tough spot. So I confided in one of my elders at the school, and they were like, okay, legally, you know, we have to tell somebody. So I went and talked to the like school counselor or whatever, and she was like, yeah, like, you know, either you could tell your family when you get home, or I can call them in, we can have a conversation. So I was like, I'll tell them. So I told them again, like, hey, this is happening again, like, I'm really struggling, you know, you need to call the school counselor, you know, we can get something worked out. And so my parents made a couple of phone calls, and they never got back to my parents. So at that point, it kind of being like the second time of me like really struggling, I truly felt like I was just on my own, and like I had to deal with everything myself, which I feel like kind of feeds into like my like independent nature. You know, I'm very much like, okay, I'll figure it out, like, you know, I gotta figure it out, I'll fix it, you know, and not to like really rely on anybody. And you know, to say again, it's to no fault of my parents or the counselor. You know, it's unfortunate that I didn't have the support at that time, but it's kind of like made me who I am now. And you know, I've reached out when I'm not feeling good and in those spots again. So at least now I know that I have that help and I can get there, and I'm in a much better spot now. But yeah, I mean, the real true weight of my like first deals with depression and stuff were those couple of years in high school. So high school sucked for me, but yeah.
Did you know when you were experiencing it that it was depression, or you just thought you were feeling awful?
I just thought I was feeling really bad. Yeah, I knew, like, you know, a handful of, you know, my immediate circle of friends and stuff were kind of dealing with relative things, and the other. So I knew that I wasn't like truly alone, and you know, maybe some of that kind of fed off each other's misery. You know, misery loves company, it's, you know, a true thing. But yeah, no, in hindsight, that's definitely like my first big I guess phase of that. That was my first like really big low. Yeah.
I like this, like's not a great word, but I'm using it now.
Sure.
To say this anytime someone brings up self-harm, because I don't think a lot of people think about this when it's talked about, is that it's really important to thank the part of yourself that decided to do that, because you thought you could have made in the moment because you didn't do the other decision, which was, which would have been ending your life. So I've talked to a lot of people about this, and it's like you really have to acknowledge that part of yourself and thank yourself for that, because that even though self-harming is a challenging thing, it actually saved you. And I think that's important to recognize that in yourself as you move forward in your journey.
Right.
And so I don't know if you feel that way about it, but I think that's true.
Yeah, I guess I haven't put it in that light. I think in terms of thanking myself was just that one night when I was taking a shower and just sobbing hysterically and was genuinely afraid of myself and these thoughts, that 1 ounce of whatever was there was you need to tell somebody. That's the girl that I look back on and I'm yeah,
proud of that girl.
Yeah, because it's I don't know, there's just so many things that I wouldn't have gotten to experience if it had been the other option, and it's really scary and sad to think about. And yeah, I don't know. And it's not to say that just because I had that really tough, heavy phase, of course, that I won't go through another phase again, or that I haven't been. I will say, thankfully, I feel they haven't been as low as that. But yeah, that really sucked. But yeah, I'm thankful to be here and to now acknowledge when I'm struggling to ask for help and to go seek it on my own, with the help of others, of course. Yeah
you have to honor that part of yourself, because it did something for you in the moment where you needed yourself the most, and you made the best decisions you could, which is super incredible that 2 times that you decided you needed to ask for help as such a young person experiencing something for the first time.
Yeah.
That's wild and really, really amazing. It's
really scary. Yeah. And it kind of came with little moments of shame where you're I don't know. Because when you're by yourself, I feel you can kind of justify what you're doing or what your thoughts are saying, or you kind of give some weird twisted validation, this is fine, but then when you have to say that to somebody else, it becomes so much different, and your stomach flips and turns into knots, and you're yeah, this is embarrassing, as a young person to be yeah, I'm doing this to myself. There was a little bit of shame that came with it. I think that's just a natural thing that I had, but
yeah, but then you're honoring those parts. Right. You're thanking that part of yourself for getting you to the point where you are. And now, with more life experience, you have a better way of handling things when they get dark, because they will, because things get dark, and that's just how life is. It beats you down, it beats you up. But I think knowing the darker side of life and always being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel allows the moments that are light, that are led with love, to feel that much better. Yeah. At least in my experience.
Yeah, and I think too, when I do go through those really challenging pits of life and am feeling at a very, very low point, and start to climb out of it, I think it's important too to kind of acknowledge maybe not everybody to the same degree, or maybe there are some people at all that don't ever feel like this, and that's incredible. But, to kind of I don't know. I feel there was a lot of initial rejection when I first started climbing up, and you get out of that and you're oh, that'll never happen again. Oh, that'll never happen again. And you just kind of push it away, you reject it. And then when it starts to happen, you're kind of what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like this? So I guess now as an older person, as someone who's been dealing with it rather for a handful of years, I kind of know that it is in a way a part of me, and to not be so rejective or ashamed of it, because now I have better ways to cope, and I think that's important to highlight too, is to not be so I guess just ashamed of it in general, because there are so many other people that struggle, and whether it be in the same way that I did and have, or in a different way too. It's it's important to, you know, talk about it. Thankful for platforms and mediums like this, you know, where we can talk about stuff, and, you know, it's important. It's very important.
Because you're not broken.
Yeah.
Right. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
You just need a little extra love, support, care, medication.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whatever the ingredients are. And the first step, like you did, right, is at least letting someone know, or at least being honest with yourself that you're not feeling like your best self.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, take a moment, like you did in the shower, like, okay, what can I do right now to get me to a point where I can see the next hour, 2 hours, day, 2 days, week.
Yeah.
And then it starts to become a domino effect, and then you start to trust yourself and believe in yourself and accept help and honor this part of yourself that may come back or may not come back, but you know how to deal with it a little bit better this time than you did the last time, and that keeps happening throughout the rest of your life. And then you still live the best life that you possibly can with the people that you love and the experiences that you have.
Yeah.
And that's what I think.
100%. I agree. Yeah.
Speaking of this fantastic, beautiful subject that I like to talk about all the time, some people listening or watching this podcast will have seen you perform at the YouAreLoved event that we had
so cool
in March,
yeah,
which is our first one ever.
Yeah.
I think it went amazing.
It was, yeah.
What did you think about it?
It was a good turnout. I was impressed, and I love that little venue too. It was a really good spot to have it, and everyone was so nice, and all the people I talked to. Yeah, it went really well. It was good.
Everyone loved you.
That's awesome.
You're amazing.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
That's why I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
So I'm running another event.
Oh, cool.
September 29th.
Okay.
2022.
Yeah.
Are you free?
Right now, yeah.
It's from 7 to 9.
Okay.
It'll be in Uptown Dallas.
Oh, nice.
At another taco shop.
Cool.
Called Tequila Delicious.
Awesome.
And I would love for you to perform again.
Yes, I'll be there. I'll mark it on my little calendar.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And Logan will film you.
Bitchin'. I love him.
I think I want to ask his partner to take photographs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah,
So yeah.
I'm there.
So you're in?
Yeah, 100%.
There's not going to be any other performances like there were last time.
Okay.
So it's kind of a different format. The one in March was me really trying to push for donations and for fundraising. Because before that, I was self-funding YouAreLoved. And I needed some financial backing to kind of run the support groups and the things that I'm trying to do. And so that was great. We raised $17,000. Awesome, right? Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So my goal was between 5 and 20. So I did pretty good. 5 was like the low end. I just wanted to have some expectations, but 20 was the high end. So we got pretty close. And I'll need more funds going into next year, but I'll continue fundraising and asking for grants and things like that. So we continue to do more. But September is kind of more about just like it's like community engagement. So the event is called An Evening of Love with Friends.
Cute.
And it's in more of a spot where I think there'd be more foot traffic. People will just kind of walk in. And so I'm going to kind of do the same talk I did at the beginning, introduce people, because there'll be some people there that don't know what we're doing.
Right.
So I'll do that. And then it's going to be more loose throughout the night. Like some people can come up and share their story if they want. Some people want to come up and share their poetry if they want. Otherwise, it'll just be like kind of a mingle, kind of a hangout, and then you'll perform for the last 30 minutes.
Wow, the closer.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll write a new song or something before then. That way it'll be a little different.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So, and I'll talk to you after about the kind of their setup, because it's not like the other place. So I'm gonna have to get some stuff for you. I don't know what you need, but
okay, cool.
Anyways, yeah.
Awesome.
So that's gonna happen.
Cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sweet, live on the pod.
Yeah.
All right, I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
One, what's the best concert you've ever been to? I know it's a tough question, or maybe it's not.
It's tough. Yeah. The one that stands out is Paramore in 2019
They're great.
at the Toyota Music Factory.
Sweet.
In like Las Colinas or whatever. Yeah, by chance my friend like bought 2 like pit tickets, and she ended up getting a photo pass, and her other friend couldn't come, so she gave the 2 pit tickets to me and my friend, and I got so drunk, and I danced so hard, and like...
You had a great time.
It was amazing. Yeah. Stands out to me, like, I would do anything to go back to that moment. It was such a good show. Mm-hmm. They're just great, yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
Beautiful, excellent.
Amazing.
What's, dead or alive, one person you'd like to see in concert that you haven't seen yet?
Oh my gosh.
Mine's Post Malone. I'm seeing in October. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You're gonna hit that bucket list. Oh my gosh. This is so tough.
And then I want to see Harry Styles.
I think, yeah, he was gonna, because I was a One Directioner. I was a Directioner girl. Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, they were great. I think, yeah, Harry Styles would be really cool. Or like Florence and the Machine.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen Florence. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Anything next for you on the horizon? Besides the YouAreLoved event, September 29th,
yeah,
2022.
September 29th in Dallas, YouAreLoved. No, yeah, that'll be really cool. That,
We didn't even talk about your band.
Yeah.
Fever Cult?
Yeah, mostly it's band stuff. We actually have a meeting tomorrow, like a production meeting, to talk about some video stuff we may be doing for some releases at the end of the year. We have a couple songs that are like mixed mastered done. We'll be announcing something soon, so that's cool. No shows as of right now, but yeah, that's consuming a lot of my musical.
So that's where you're going in on right now.
Yeah, the solo stuff is really cool, and I'll probably keep writing when those moments happen when I'm by myself at home. But yeah, Fever Cult's like our big focus. We're
Sweet.
Kind of rebranding, changing direction a bit, and
oh really?
Yeah.
In an exciting way?
Yeah, I'll play you some stuff off camera if you're interested. Yeah.
Of course I am.
No, yeah, but yeah, so I'm really excited.
But that music is on Spotify.
Yep.
Yeah, people can listen.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff.
All the good stuff. Mm-hmm. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm really stoked. Yeah.
And then where can people find you the best? And then Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. Yeah, Fever Cult Band is the band, and then I don't know what mine is.
E__ Quinny.
Yeah, Quinny.
Yeah, I got it.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they'll be posted in the show notes.
Oh yeah, cool.
For sure.
Yeah, that's my main like social media that I post to.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, good.
Yeah.
And then final question.
Oh no.
Here it is.
Yeah.
If you would create a billboard, Erin,
Damn it.
and millions of people would see that billboard every single day, what would you put on that billboard? Question stolen from Tim Ferriss, by the way.
Yeah. Man, I've been trying to think about this like all week. There's a few that like kind of pop into my brain, I guess.
I throw them out.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say one. Just like, and it's so like cliche, umbrella, but like your feelings are valid at every moment.
I love cliche.
Okay.
My company's called YouAreLoved.
Yeah, no, but
it's cheesy and beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, just your feelings are valid at every moment. I think whether how long they sit with you or, how long you let them sit with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just in one moment, you're allowed to be whatever you're feeling.
Your feelings are valid in every moment.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's throw it on a billboard.
Cool, yeah. You got like $50K laying around or whatever it is.
Billboards are very expensive.
They're very expensive. Yeah. When people do like pranks, like YouTubers do like their little prank like billboards, I'm like, you wasted money on that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do want to make a billboard one day though.
No, that'd be sick.
And just put every single saying on there.
No, that'd be really cool.
But they'd all be really small, so I don't know.
If they'd be like legible as you're driving by.
Yeah. I want people to actually feel those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be like some kind of technology that you just like, as you drive by it like reads it to you or something.
Whoa.
That'd be kind of cool. Just like automatically projects into your speakers.
Yeah. Any last minute thoughts, comments, questions, concerns?
Okay.
Funny stories?
No. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining.
Nice. Yeah.
I loved speaking with you.
Yeah, me too.
And getting to know you.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Because we didn't get to chat a bunch in March.
Right.
Because I was a bit busy.
Yeah.
You were performing.
Yep.
But now we're friends.
Yeah. I'm excited.
And now you're performing for us again.
Yes. It'll
Sweet.
be very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Share this with a friend. Like, subscribe, follow, review, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff. But most importantly, take good care of yourselves and others. I'll see you next time. Much love.